Aside from some of those, then, I wanted to take a good amount of time on this show to talk about the events of this weekend. Because for those of you who are watching on video form, you have been staring at my bald head for the last half an hour. Which means we did it. We did it, everybody. We did it. This past weekend, the goal from this Saturday was pretty simple. Raise $10,000 for the American Cancer Society. And somehow, some way, we did that in roughly 10 hours.
Yeah, that was
as insane as that is. And I'm glad Endo is here specifically because Endo was with me, in a Discord call for a good portion of that stream on Saturday. And it's just... It was a hell of a day that still almost doesn't even kind of feel real in the aftermath of it. We 2 weeks before the event, I checked my email and all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, are you interested in hosting a charity event through, a company called Soft Giving? And it's like, I'll entertain this. Like, I'll be honest, and I think a lot of other content creators can tell you, like, if you check your email almost daily, there's offers for stuff like this, and then you check the email, and it's like I've seen kids' crayon drawings look more professional than this.
Oh my god,
it's a common thing. So I'm like, this one looks at least legit. Let's entertain it. And then the idea for the stream came together very, very quickly. So as I said on Twitter and Instagram in the aftermath of this, like a big shout out to Soft Giving. They were phenomenal to work with and to help organize this, and the way that they set up what they do is incredibly, I'll use the word intuitive, but just quick and easy. They're great to work with. So I was happy to be able to do that. And then you get into talking about the people that helped kind of make the event what it was, Endo included. We had over a dozen giveaways scheduled. Soft Giving themselves giving up what was a gaming headset and I think a $20 Steam gift card, which good friend of the show, Mr. Monkey Dude, actually ended up winning, which was great because Monk was awesome in terms of donating. He really helped me kind of stay focused during the stream. We had some extra challenges thrown in there. Like, I was planning on being on NHL 22 the whole time, but for anybody that's watched on Twitch, you know that we've had a history of playing GeoGuessr. I do love me some GeoGuessr. There have been some incredible memes to come out of GeoGuessr. Some of my favorite streams have been us, whether on FIFA or EASHL, just the idea of playing club. While we sit there in the dressing room and wait 6 hours to get a match, play some GeoGuessr. It's the best. And he proposed the idea of, $50 if you can get to within, I think it was 100 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, basically pretty much get it right on the dot. And, twice we were able to do that. Both times he proposed that challenge. So shout out to Brisbane, Australia and Glasgow, Scotland for helping me be able to find these locations dead on and contributing at least an extra $100 there to charity. Manscaped, of course, they've been great. They helped put up one of the performance packages up there as well. It was great to give that away. And again, I talk about Manscaped and being appreciative for them. Like, they did not have to stay on with this show when we underwent changes.
Right.
And, in relation to that, and I'll say this because we're coming up on the end of the year, I've been very reflective as of late in my personal life. That change and bringing Endo onto the show and then Sin onto the show and moving on from what it was not easy. It was not exactly how I thought things were going to go. There was a difference in opinion on what direction to take with the show, and unfortunately, there was no negotiating that. there was no compromise. It was, I have this vision, Deej had that vision, and unfortunately, it led to that split, which sucks and is probably one of the low points of the year for me. But seeing how Endo has fit onto this show and how Sin has fit onto this show, and then seeing Manscaped just be like, hey, we could sit here and dock how much, we don't get paid a crap load for the sponsorship, but enough to really keep the lights on, which is great. And Manscaped, flat out, they could have said, you're essentially rebuilding, we're out of here. Yeah. But no, they stuck with us. And for that, I'm so damn appreciative. And to be able to contact them and be like, hey, I'm doing this charity idea. And they're like, yeah, hey, what can we give you? Anything you want. Awesome company to work with. And I thank them tremendously. You had Clappy behind the scenes, the Clapperton, with EA NHL. Just, again, I'm like, hey, can you help out in any way? Here's a crap load of codes. And we were able to give away a crap load of codes.
There was a lot of codes. It was ridiculous.
I think it was 30 in total.
Yeah.
Between Xbox, PlayStation. I can't thank Clappy enough either for helping with that. The team behind Franchise Hockey Manager, I've been really fortunate to have a great relationship with them for a couple of years now, and to be able to try and shine as much of a spotlight on that series as I can, even if, thanks to roster sharing being added to NHL 22, I haven't been able to play that game on stream or make YouTube videos for it as much as I'd like to. They're still great. They gave us codes for that, and Out of the Park Baseball 22, which is another phenomenal game. Endo, originally you were going to give up one jersey. I think you ended up giving up two.
Yeah, so I gave up a I can actually show you right now. It's right over here. So first one I gave up was the famed Matt Duchene jersey that Tougie gave me after I gave him the Spider Habs. And then the second one was a jersey that I got from Crash Andrews because we did a little barter. I had to fill up on that too.
Here, go grab what you're going to grab, and I'll hype up Crash as well, because Crash was also great on this particular stream. I mean, again, offering jerseys, offering a hockey card package as well, which there was some, I mean, we're not just talking like the average, like, oh yeah, the Upper Deck full collection. Like, Crash was great with offering great stuff. Again, that would be twitch.tv/Crash Andrews, as Endo presents the other jersey he was willing to give up, which was, number one, the Rangers' best jersey ever.
Yeah.
It's their dark blue alternate from around 2010, a Rick Nash, which I want that jersey myself. Although I do have a Lundqvist in that style, but
I'm jealous.
God, I mean, and that just kind of goes to show, like, throughout the stream as well, Endo benefited from this. Shout out to my good friend, Mr. Tactics HD, randomly just being like, hey, here's a Battlefield code. Guess who ended up with the Battlefield code?
I scooped that shit up super quick. I had it's almost as if I had that Microsoft redeem code button on like a hotkey because I was gone. It was gone.
I thought it was, I thought that was great. To the New Jersey Devil, the mascot of the Devils. He was able to give away some shirts, which was great. And again, I always call him Mr. GTAC 13 jerseys. He was able to give away some jerseys. Shithawks jerseys as well. Was able to give away a nifty little Johnny Gaudreau Flames jersey. I mentioned Monkey Dude. He gave away a bunch of game codes, whether for Steam or Xbox. Cool Hockey. They came in clutch with a gift card as well to give away. And again, we've personally gone through Cool Hockey many, many times to get the jersey hookup. They're another great, a great outlet to support. And again, of course, I did give up that infamous Montreal jersey, the Spider Habs. For anybody who isn't watching the video form, Starter, the brand Starter, came out with quote-unquote fashion jerseys in the 90s. These are monstrosities, and this is arguably the best / worst. It almost looks like the cover of a Van Halen album.
Oh my god!
It's ridiculous, and we're giving that away. I got to ship that out hopefully this week. Honestly, might have to wait until after the holiday boom because
Yeah.
Jesus.
As you say that, though, another thing I want to talk about fashion jerseys real quick. Have you
Go
seen the
ahead.
stuff that Sherwood's been doing?
No.
Okay, so first Sherwood had the Tim Staple designs and all that, and everyone kept tagging me because the kid in that thing was black, and I'm like, oh, it's Endo, and he has long hair. I'm like, thanks, guys. But he
Jesus.
recently did something with OVO, and like you'd get like a Drake branded like because OVO is the brand, and you get that branded, and they had like a puck, and like on top of the puck, it was gold plated.
Gold plated.
Gold, yeah, you heard me. Gold plated. It was a gold plated puck. If you look up like Sherwood OVO, the stuff is super clean, and I'm concerned that Sherwood, like I've always used Sherwood sticks. I find them, I like them the best. Canadian Tire Hockey, by the way, amazing. And I feel like there could turn into a brand that's just like fashion hockey, because they're selling a goalie mask on there, coveted mask, great quality mask for $5,000. I can tell you, I have a brand new mask that's like 1,000. This is Canadian, like 1,000 Canadian for like a brand new NHL spec mask. Who's gonna pay 5,000? You're better off,
dude. Let's be honest. There are some douches at beer league who would love to be able to flex.
And the thing is, though, it's like blue. It's like a dark blue. So like I looked at it and I'm like, I could use this for my set because my sets are like all blue and white, but I don't have $5,000 on me that can just offload. Oh man, that's hilarious. But yeah, back to the charity stuff.
Yeah, as God, I don't even know. I don't even know what my voice just did there, but it's fine. Yeah. It's like Howard D. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God. And then there was the man himself, Mr. Chris Rumble, which again I said on Twitter and Instagram in a post the day after. This whole idea of the hunt for Rumble started in like NHL 17. We had done the first ever Draft to Glory franchise with the Caps. And the legends of that series, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been a combination of the series I had done that year. But the idea was I had loaded into Hut, and people said, oh, make a team out of guys like Nolan Patrick and Chris Rumble. And there was a dude who played for the Victoriaville Tigers. I think his name was Andrew Smith. He was like 6'8". And it was build a Hut team out of those guys and use the team. And I'm like, okay, cool. And we went to find Chris's card. Didn't exist. Okay, cool. Let me open up some silver packs and see what happens. 3 months later, and who knows how much time and money spent, we finally packed him. And it was delightful. And then we decided to do it again the next year. Now, I don't know if it was the NHL 17 or 18 version that Chris saw, but he saw it, died laughing, showed it to his teammates, died laughing, but didn't just leave it at that. Like, he could have, and just like, look at this goof on the internet.
Fucking
And it's fine, because that's what most people do. Oh, look at this goof on the internet, and it's perfectly cool. I know, bald head and all. But no, instead, like, he embraced it. And we kept doing it year after year. And then last year was the year where I'm like, let's make this a charity stream. It makes all the sense in the world. And I am happy to say we don't have a date yet. Chris will be on this podcast.
can't wait.
And I'd love to hear the story from him one of these days. But, you know, he grows up playing hockey. And then as a teenager, he ends up with cancer, like just flat out. Like, he ends up at the Seattle Children's Hospital, which is one of, if not the top facility in relation to cases like this. And he fucking made it. And then still goes on to have this hockey career. And again, like you talk about the interview potential, like, I want to understand, like, you know, the career decisions, because I'm sure he could be still an ECHL, AHL caliber defenseman, but instead he's like, I'm going to go play in Norway. I'm going to go play in Austria. Like, he's been all over the place, and that sounds awesome to me. And I can't wait to be able to ask him about that on the show.
Yeah.
But, so it's like last year to be able to turn it into a charity stream and raise money for a cause so close to him. We had some complications, admittedly, getting some of the prizes out there because, hey, guess what? None of us knew how fucked up the COVID situation was going to be. And he was in Norway at the time. And you know how difficult it was to try and ship a hockey stick from Norway to another country during COVID? Whew.
Yeah.
Very difficult. But, then we go into this year. And I messaged him, and I'm like, hey, hope you're doing well. We're doing this again. You don't have to give away anything. And he comes in clutch, giving away team merch for the club he's currently playing with in Austria, giving away jerseys. And again, it's so interesting to me that, look, at the end of the day, is this an NHL caliber player? No. But still, this is a professional hockey player who could have just been like, this is fucking dumb. But no, instead he embraces it, and we've turned it into raising almost $20,000 for cancer-related charities in the past 2 years. And really in the past 13 months. It's incredible. It's one of those things where, you ask me at the start of this YouTube Twitch journey, hey, this is going to happen. I'd be like, that's fucking weird. And no, it's not. It's just one of those things where it's how does this possibly become a thing? And before talking about more of the event as well, I do also want to shout out our good buddy Tymo, at Baker and Tymo, Tymo, on Twitter. You can also find him on Twitch at the Baker and Tymo Show, who, for free was able to get a lot of graphic stuff done that I needed to get done. There were a lot of people who helped make this the success that it was. And then we get in to the stream itself. Horrible idea to say I would change jerseys for $5 because, my God, we had to change jerseys so many times and eventually I just lost track of it. That was awful. I'll never do that part again.
Oh my God, it was bad.
If people donated $10, one bean from the old box of Bean Boozled, I said it 1,000 times on stream. I thought people were just playing it up. I thought they were acting for the reaction. No. Those things are legitimately that bad. I don't recommend eating as many as I did for the sake of charity. I won't go into details, but took a day or so for my stomach health to kind of get back to normal. That was a fun time. But hey, it was for charity. God, we were going to have that Team Tougie versus Team Twitch chat idea as the backup, and we never had to get to it.
Yeah.
We had to do that again at some point.
So how does that work for people who don't understand, the concept?
So basically, the idea was if we packed Rumble super early on, I would just create, say Deke, twitch.tv/DeekSlayer, donated the money to be added in. I'd make his own created player, and we'd sort of have an all-star squad versus all-star squad, or I'd run a franchise mode real quick with that. Basically, it was just an idea to have a backup plan for what to do in case we packed him early.
Yeah.
Because obviously the idea for the Hunt for Rumble is to open those packs to try and get him, which we never did, by the way. So that was just the idea behind that. Maybe as dumb of an idea as 5 minutes of ASMR, because Endo and I got to do the ASMR hour. That was like a fever dream.
I felt bad for you halfway through because you're just sitting there. I took a nap originally, and I go back to look at what he's doing. He's just there, just like, yeah, now we're building backs and we're doing this. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What is he doing? So I get in the call. I was like, hey, buddy, how's it going? And then we just get there for a while. And then I think the highlight of it was, there's a streamer in the community called Josh Fearless. Check him out. He plays a lot of competitive Hut, and he's had some moments on stream where he's freaked out and broke his chair and stuff like that. So I go, I just go I'm gonna have a Josh Fearless freak out ASMR real quick, and then I just go silent for 2 minutes, like 30 seconds, and then Tuga's like, "Are you okay?" And I just slam my desk.
It was a fun time. It's ridiculous.
It was a lot of fun.
God, we ended up with some new Twitch emotes that were hilarious as well because of some of the donos, and then
Rumble dollars, the best.
Yeah, God. And then at the end, we start hitting some of those milestones. We streamed from about 2 p.m. Eastern to about 7:30. In that time, we hit the halfway point of $5,000. It was 5,005 as I ended the first half of the stream, which does lock in the return of a Hut series to the YouTube side of things for however long as I can mentally handle it, which we'll see. But, you know, I went and grabbed something to eat, sat down, talked to the girlfriend for a bit, and it was like, man, I you know, we have a big group chat up as everybody does, and I had messaged people in there, and it's just like, I'm having a hard time if it was just 5K focusing on that. You know, like 5K for charity is still, that's not nothing, you know? Especially for me, where, look, I've had some people, honestly, in the aftermath of the roster sharing thing, just be like, you don't know how to take criticism, and it's going to hold you back. There were some comments like that, which was funny because the end of the day, like I've been doing this for like 5 or 6 years now.
Right.
And I have accomplished more in that time than most people ever will on YouTube or Twitch. If you think about the amount of people that try to make something happen like that. And I've said as much about the Twitch community side of it, especially. The idea of being one of those gigantic streamers, like if I go look right now, we'll throw out XQC,
Oh my God,
for
that's
example,
number
as
one.
one of the gigantic channels. Anybody behind a channel of that size, odds are you do not have a relatively close relationship with the people in your chat, because your chat goes by, even on slow mode, so fucking fast that there's just no way. Like, all you essentially see is a username and equate it to dollars, and that's it, unless you really put in the effort. For someone of my, you know, size on Twitch, like, I get to see the same people every day. I know stuff about every single person from the conversations it's fucking awesome. It is legitimate. It's legitimately a community. And I've mentioned this YouTuber before, but as someone who's watched the Happy Console Gamer, who has a gaming channel. He lives out in Vancouver. Great channel. Again, I've been following him for a decade now, if not more.
Right.
You know, he kind of instilled it when his channel was growing. The idea of him being able to recognize that already he was getting to the point where he was having trouble keeping that same sense of community, and it disappointed him. Sure, the extra money's nice, but there is a sacrifice that ultimately is made in relation to getting paid more on something like YouTube or Twitch, and that is you lose a bit of that sense of community. So I love that I'm at that point where I have that. And continuing on with that, I am also now the proud owner of a Carey Price Habs jersey that is in the mail.
There you go.
For us hitting 7.5K. And we hit 7.5K because that night, as I'm talking to my girlfriend, I'm like, I can't be happy with 5K. I want to hit 10 so badly. So we came back at about 10:30. And slow and steady again. Because through that first half, the first part, we were at about 1K an hour for the first 3 hours or so. And then it started to dip, but we still got the 5K. And then we come back, and within an hour, 6K. And then we started getting closer to 7. And when we hit 7, Endo again was in this chat. We actually edited the Twitch stream to put him on the call. It was fun as hell.
The frame.
Once we hit 7, we roll, we spin the wheel. We get the giveaway from Monkey Dude for the game codes. Before I can even do that official giveaway, we hit 7.5K. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then we hit 8K less than a minute later, or a few minutes later. And before we know it, within an hour, we went from 7K to hitting that 10K goal.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
A gigantic shout out, especially to two people, which Chris, again, the top donator prize was going to be an autographed Rumble jersey from Black Wings Linz in the Austrian League, also known as ICE. And, well, there were a lot of people that donated multiple, literally hundreds of dollars to Emperor Fun and Big Nate, who both donated at least $2,500 each.
I think the best.
They're both
Yeah.
They're both getting a jersey, by the way, for that, because holy shit. But
there's one thing I love about the whole situation is that at first they were like, basically kind of like outbid each other to the point
yeah, it
that
was like $20 increments or something.
Big Nate had $1 up on Emperor so he would get the jersey. I think that's hilarious. I think it's amazing that all this competitiveness and willing to get that jersey would go to a great cause, and now they're both gonna get one. Correct? Yeah.
Yes. And I will say, like, I was hesitant to name them specifically on like Twitter and Instagram because I'm like, I don't want people bugging them.
Yeah.
I don't want people thinking if they do a charity stream that they can go bug those two.
Yeah.
Nor am I in the position where I'm like, oh, if I do another charity stream, they're going to come in clutch. Like, no. I don't want anybody bothering them unless it's to say, holy shit, you two are amazing for doing what they did.
Yeah, sort of like when I found out who Hex Hockey was, who was also a big donator in the NHL community for a little while.
Donated $100 to the charity stream as well.
Yeah,
so
he was
shout out to
basically
them.
helping the community out during like a really big down spot. And he's a big fan of the community of NHL and content creators. And when I found out who it was, because I had an interaction with him before, I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want people to depend on people in a way. If someone's going to do something like this, like a charitable act to help someone out or help out a cause, you should be able to do it anonymously. Or if you want to declare yourself, you should do it on your own way. And I even told him that, I'm like, I don't want people to know because like that's the reason why. All he did was tell people about whatever his cause was and what he wanted to do, which was fair. And hats off to everybody for everything. It's been a crazy 24 hours during that span. And it's good for me to learn too, because I'm a brand new NHL creator, or not even NHL, just like a general content creator. And so to surround myself with guys like yourself, Deke, Crash, and guys who've been doing this for a little bit of a while, and learn like the ins and outs and how things work, and getting to experience a big event like this, it helps me look for the future if I want to do stuff like this. So where to go, how to run things, how to make things look proper and professional. Because you did like a lot of the work, and like you said, this was like 2 weeks ago you got positioned about this. I remember a few days ago you were telling us in the Discord how you were nervous, how you were worried about everything, and make sure everything's gonna go right. We're like, we got you, man. You need anything, you got us here. And it's great that you have the guys that help you out with everything like that.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the fact that by the end of this, and I will say, like, those two going head to head. And carrying this in a way did lead to other people also going kind of crazy at the end too, because you just get wrapped up in it. It's ridiculous. We ended up finishing just under $11,000, which is insane, in roughly 10 hours. Like I said, the community that I have, the community that I've built, I don't need it to be any bigger. I don't even necessarily want it to be any bigger. Like, am I going to be that much happier with a Lambo in the driveway? Not really. I got to be honest. Not really. That's just not the way that I'm wired. It was incredible, man. It was incredible to be able to do that in such a short amount of time. And, like I said, I wasn't necessarily content at half the goal, even though I probably should have been. I do try to be that type of person to look more at what you have instead of what you don't, and 5,000 for charity is still an impactful amount. Like, the people that I was working with on the stream were happy with the 5K. Like, I should have been happy, but I wasn't content with it. We went back, and thank God we did, man. I mean, again, obviously, we ended up hitting our $10,000 goal. I shaved my goddamn head bald, which, could look worse, I think. Again, if I were to go bald, I think I can at least manage this. Boy, was it interesting to have to wear a hat when I had to go shovel the driveway this morning. It's just every sensation is super, super weird. Man, it's been great though, and it was. I know, like, mentally, I wanted the whole idea of like, hey, let me shave my goddamn head, because it's essentially that reminder of like, hey, you did good. And on top of that, I mean, number one, too, it's what the community wanted as the 10K goal. But I talked about it during the stream as well, and it's like, man, there isn't a single person out there who doesn't know what it's like to have their lives affected by cancer. So to raise 10K for the American Cancer Society, it's incredible. And I've talked about it. And I'll always be open about it. And I don't blame anyone who doesn't want to be open with the internet about any type of struggles like this, because it is an incredibly personal thing. But that's why I started on YouTube and Twitch. It's like, hey, if I can make a difference, even with just one person, to be like, oh my God, I'm having a horrible night. Let me watch this guy yell about rosters. Okay, I took my mind off it for a little bit. That's good enough for me.
Right.
You know, I lost my grandfather on my dad's side to pancreatic cancer when I was 5. And you have someone that important to you in your life ripped away at such a young age. Dude, it's 22 years later. I'm still feeling the effects of that.
Right.
You know, you go back and forth between where you're at and your level of acceptance and how much it impacts you. But still, like, that was the catalyst for then a few years later, I almost lost my dad to the effects of Crohn's disease. And that is what really kind of led to, you know, a lot of mental health struggles for me growing up, certainly. I look back, it's been 10 years since I lost one of my aunts on my mom's side to liver cancer. The year after that, granted, she was essentially my aunt as well, not technically related, but she passed away as well due to liver cancer. And it's just one of those things that's like consistently persisted. So for me to be able to do something, anything in relation to trying to make a difference in that regard after, as I've said quite a few times, betting on myself. Like, again, I know I'm not the biggest creator in the world. I don't have to be. You know, I bet on myself 5 or 6 years ago to start trying this. And I never say this stuff to flex. And I get it. Like, some people are going to view it that way because it's the fucking internet, and that's all it seems to be, is a fucking pissing contest between people. It doesn't help when you have fucking douchebag billionaires like Elon Musk flexing on Twitter, like, look at how rich I am. I don't even pay my fucking taxes, and people fucking grovel at his feet. Like, that's the society that we live in. It's all about fucking flexing and showing what you have. But for me, like I said, 5, 6 years ago, I'm between jobs, and I'm like, fuck, what exactly am I going to do? Let me try this shit. And I look at what has happened since, and again, 2 charity streams down, almost $20,000 raised for cancer-related charities. Yeah. I'm in a position that a lot of people would die to be in. Like, I say only, but 13,000 followers on Twitch puts me pretty far up there in the grand scheme of things for the amount of people that actually try to be successful on Twitch.
Yeah, another thing about that,
like,
too.
Legitimately, I can stake claim to, I know the title Game Changer is a bit of a meme in and of itself, but I can literally look at the conversations I have had with that dev team and point directly to changes and features that my input and my community's input has helped lead to. I have had the privilege of getting flown out there and meeting these people. I have had the privilege of getting my name in the credits of the video game that I used to skip school to play. Like I said, I'm at the point where I am paid to do commentary, even if it's esports commentary. Do you know how many fucking people in this scene would love to have the position that I have at NHL Gamer? Like, there isn't anybody within this fucking scene that's like, I want to do commentary, that would turn down the spots that Sin and I have with NHL Gamer. Like, and all of these incredible things, I think I do put this past Saturday. It's just another one of those things that I can look back on, even if I am off YouTube. Say 2022 is my last year on YouTube and Twitch. I don't plan on it being, but say that it is. I get to look back and be like, okay, that chunk of time was worth the time investment. I did not waste that time. I did good with that time and can look back on it positively. And this stream from this past Saturday, and knowing I'm going to have a bald fucking head in the Christmas pictures this year, it's probably number 1 on the list, man. This weekend was incredible, dude. It was so incredibly personally validating. I am still just so fucking humbled by the community that I have, the friends that I have. Like it's all of it. The people that showed up in support, the people who are there day in and day out. Like it's just, like I said, maybe I'm just super reflective because it's that time of year anyway.
Right.
But just very, very humbled by all of this, and never so happy to have to wear a hat every time I have to leave the house to keep my head warm.
Definitely. It's a lot of reflection, and the one thing that I like to tell people a lot with terms of content creation is when you're first starting out, do it because you like to do it. Don't do it because it pays out the money. Because when you first start, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make any money, if not a little bit of money. I've been doing this for what, 8
I didn't make anything really. Like, I mean, you want to even talk about like, I don't know if I got paid in the first year, and then beyond that, like nothing overly significant to even bank, because that first little bit that you make, you need to reinvest back in it.
Exactly.
Upgrade the mic, upgrade the webcam, upgrade the computer. So it's, I mean, again, to the to the people that do strike gold very, very quickly, bravo. But that is not the that's not the common story.
One thing I like to tell people is that 1% of Twitch streamers on Twitch average more than 20 views. 1% of content creators, actually not even, like 0.01% of content creators on Twitch itself can make it profitable and have basically livable income off of it. There was a list that leaked out, I think earlier this year, that showed like the top 10,000 from a certain, like a 2-year span, and how much they were making just from subs and bits alone. And like the one on the bottom of that list, and it was like top 10,000 or whatever. It was like they were making basically $10,000 from like that whole 2-year span. So you average it out to be $5,000 just on subs and bits. Obviously, this doesn't account to donations and all that. That's another thing we don't want to talk about and clarify with. But go into making content because you like it. For example, if you're talking about financials and stuff like that, I've been doing this for 1.5 years, and I'm still in the hole technically with the money that I've made through streaming. I'm very fortunate that I somehow was able to make $100, $200, I think maybe like $400 from streaming, and everything of that's gone back into my setup. I had to buy a new PC. I had to go buy a new graphics card, which I've been yelling about, which my mom yelled about last time on the podcast about trying to get it over in the US, but she didn't understand how the supply chain and how everything goes. That's besides the point. But in terms of making stuff, do it because you're passionate about it. Because the passion will drive you to be more successful. And then when you become successful, then the money will come in. The money should never be the first thing you think of doing anything whatsoever. If you want to make money, you go to school and you become a banker. You want to do anything else like that, you do something like that'll make you care about money so much. You do that. If you want to be more creative, you can focus on doing your other stuff as well. You can focus on doing stuff that has you stuff like that. But the way I see it personally is I'm not going to drop everything at a hat for Twitch streaming immediately, because there's no way and no how in the first year or two that I've been doing this, I'll be able to make enough money to live off of it. Yeah. Now, don't let that be a dismotivator to do whatever you want, but just do something, put it out. If you're thinking about putting out a video, just shove it out there. You gotta start somewhere, right? There are people who look back at their old videos and they say, you know what? That video might be bad now that I look at it then, but I didn't know much. And that's the big motivator to get out there. Throw something on there. It could stick. You can find someone who says, oh, you know what? I can help you out with this and offer this services right there. Like I reached out to Tougie originally to help him with videos. God, it's been like half a year since I've done a video for you. I'm sorry. But I've been really busy with working on other stuff. But yeah. Just keep it out there. Keep trying. If you have an idea to put out there, just throw it out there. Even if it's like not like professionally done, it doesn't need to be. That's the power of the internet. That's the power of Twitch, especially. You can just go put your webcam in a corner. You don't even have to use a webcam. Just grab a mic connected to your Xbox, stream from the Xbox, do it that way. There's so many accessible ways for content creators to become content creators and put stuff out there. There are some guys who still right now are just streaming from the consoles. Like 2BC hasn't shown his face ever. ever. And this guy is the top NHL community guy. 100%. He goes live, he gets 1,000 viewers. But he's worked for that craft. Nasher, he's worked for that craft. No Sleeves, yourself, like Henrique, all these guys, they've worked and put their heart on their sleeves and in terms of making content. It's built up over a while. There are guys who get the super successful at the beginning off the hop, but that's an abnormality. You're going to have to take a while for it to go through, but don't let anything that we're saying discourage you. Just put something out there, have it go through, and you'll eventually get something going. Promise you.
The conversation's taken a couple different twists and turns. I feel like I've probably said everything that I can say without retreading and repeating.
Yeah. This has turned from Tougie's take to like internet wellness and you.
Right? But yeah, man. No, this weekend was incredible and something that I won't forget. And I mean, again, like, this isn't the point, but someone shared a link, and it's like the Bills raise $40,000 for a charity or something like that, and they're like, you raised a fourth amount of money as the Buffalo Bills. And I'm like, that's not the point. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool in a sense. Like, it's just, man, again, like, it's not, none of it is intended as a pat on the back, self-congratulatory anything. It's just, oh, man, I am just very humbled by this past weekend, bald head and all, at what we've been able to do as a community, everybody. So, with that, I can't imagine we'll have too much to talk about this particular week. We will have another show, I do believe, up on Thursday, the 23rd. Like I said, we'll talk about the World Juniors there. And we'll see what else happens this week. Again, I can't imagine there'll be too much as things continue to evolve. But we'll be here at the very least. And we'll see what happens heading into next week as well. In regards to, obviously, it's a very busy time for a lot of us. I know Sin probably won't be able to be here for the rest of this week either, as we mentioned. But Endo and I should be here, hopefully. We'll see what happens. And, yeah, Endo, any parting words? I'd say... let's get your mom on the phone, but we'd be here until 9 p.m., so let's not.
I want to say thank you to everyone in the community for helping out with the charity stream. It was amazing. Definitely something that I would love to do myself and help out with at any given time. Hopefully with more notice in 2 weeks. But it was a great experience. And yeah, you guys knocked it out of the park. You can find me on social medias, Endo Mills on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I might go live tonight. I'm actually thinking of doing a little series here where I give chat $100 and I tell them to buy me anything they want. We'll put it in a list. We'll play a game of marbles, and then whatever it lands on, I have to buy that item. Up to $100.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think, too, it's funny. I'd been talking with one Mr. Crash Andrews in regards to what are we going to do with the Hunt for Rumble, because Crash normally sponsors the celebratory confetti cannon. I wasn't actually able to find a confetti cannon, so we have the Crash Andrews bowl of confetti that went unused because we didn't pack Rumble's card on Saturday. So we might even do the type of thing where I'm going to keep the giveaway going. In that, hey, say someone's like, hey, here's $5, open up packs on Hut. If we pack Rumble with those $5, they'll send you a jersey. That type of thing. Because the hunt's still on. The hunt doesn't end until we get the most elusive card in Ultimate Team. So, hey, maybe we'll make things work still. And God, again, I have a Hut series coming up. I'd kind of like to pack Chris's card to use on the Hut series as like the team captain throughout the journey. So hopefully we can get him sooner rather than later. But we'll find out. Endo, it was fun. Thank you for being here, of course. And yeah, everybody, again, we'll see you this Thursday. Twitch.tv/EndoMills, ENDO Mills. You can find him on Twitter, everywhere. I am at Tougie24, everywhere. We will see you later on this week. I am going to go put a hat on because it's cold. Goodbye.